This episode is brought to you by Woodside Energy, a proud major sponsor of the Fremantle Football Club, supporting local footy from grassroots to greatness.
Yes, let's get straight into it. Let's start off with Saxon, who says, would you rather rewatch the Bunbury game or bleach your eyes?
Honestly.
The problem with the bleaching of your eyes is it's probably going to cause extended damage for like a week or two at minimum.
I'd rather wear a rubber bullet in the arse like that reporter did in LA.
I get a mulligan here because I didn't watch it in the first place.
Yeah, I didn't watch a second. I didn't watch a second either.
Jay, not a question, but I hope Big Pepsi enjoys that carton he won. Well, he won like 7 of them.
What about there's a couple that are in my DMs who our only exchanges have been like not conversations, just vouchers.
Just beer?
Just beer vouchers.
No? Yes. Patrick, g'day hard-ons. Just curious what the actual the AFL is going to do with the Suns v Bombers game. I feel as a long-suffering, not that long, but long enough, Suns supporter, I know us enough that it's probably going to go down to our last game to make finals, and we always fall off a cliff after the buys, so you can imagine the trepidation. Rhino, is there actually any official word on that fixture? Pepsi, if you were given the Sunners a pump-up post-buy to stop shitting the bed, what would you say? And Smoko, what is the current vibe check on the Suns? Have appreciated your support this season, bloody legend. P.S. Is Swallow the GCFC equivalent of Ward?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say...
Never heard him called the Sunners, have you?
The Sunners.
I would say Ward.
I'd say
Ward's a category above, Dave.
No, but I think he means like value to the club
but I think
else.
in everything. I think Ward does. I don't know, because I think maybe Ward was...
He was captain.
He was captain.
Swallow
not
was
from
captain.
the start.
No, but he sacrificed the doggies.
Premiership.
You didn't sacrifice cash.
No, the doggies. Like he was there. He was going to be the next captain there and all that
Yeah,
sort of stuff.
he made a choice.
Anyway, sorry then, because I definitely bombed.
Would you pump up? How would you pump up the Suns?
Grow up. Grow up. He said that's the pump up. Grow up.
Okay.
It's after the bye. It's time to get cracking. You're in the eight. You've got the opportunity. Let's get going.
The vibes are just getting a bit shaky.
Yeah, there's nothing on that fixture just yet. I would say for you, pencil in that sort of Wednesday vibe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I reckon if I had to bet on it, I'd say maybe that Wednesday because
important
they'll
game,
probably find a way to put the other game that those two teams are playing in on the Saturdays and then give them 4 or 5 days off. And because then after that, you've got the bye
They'll
anyway.
both be playing for sheep stations.
Caleb, would love to understand the thought process behind not subbing on Bo Allen late in the third, early fourth when the Eagles were clearly running out of legs.
Well, you didn't watch 7 News on
Liam
Monday.
Ryan is well past his best. Would you test the market? Frustrating game. So Vinny McQualter last night, I asked him about Bo Allen and he said, I stuffed that up. Basically,
I
handled Bo Allen really poorly with the sub the last 2 weeks, and he said, "I 98% guarantee he won't be the sub this week." And so he'll either play at waffle level full game,
Oh, that sucks.
or
You'd
he'll
rather
play,
be sub.
or he'll play at the AFL level full game. Hopefully for Bo, it's
I would
that
say
one.
it's AFL. I'd say 98% AFL.
But credit to McQualter for just owning that and saying, I stuffed it up. He's basically said, look, the sub thing is hard to get right because when you don't have an obvious injury and the game's close, and you're like, oh, geez, when do I pull this trigger? When do I pull it? And he's just, I haven't figured that out yet. And the sub
we spend so much time talking about the sub. The sub's the 23rd person selected, and you're probably taking the 22nd shittest off. The 22nd
Well, this
best
is why
off.
I like the sub.
So don't think about it, just drag them.
Well, I like it when it's like either a crafty forward or a speedster because it's like injecting pace
notice it.
or injecting
you
goal
hardly
now.
notice them.
But so like Luke Brewster, right?
Sometimes,
Great
when they're
sub.
real quick.
Comes on, can kick 2 goals in a quarter. Sonny Walters, I like that as a sub. When it's a big-bodied sort of defensive or midfield,
Even a midfielder, they're going to go and have 6 touches.
Well,
everyone's going to have 6
I
touches.
can understand how McQualter would be going, oh, is this the right time to put a third gamer in who's played, one half of football?
Someone's done rucks before, haven't they? There's been like a couple
The
of
very
ruck
first
subs.
sub ever
Was a ruck.
was Ruck.
Is it Clarko?
Nah, it was Sydney, and I reckon it was maybe
Tifford?
like Jolly or someone.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Liam Ryan, I still think he's got something. But yeah, testing the market wouldn't maybe be the worst.
I think he's got something at West Coast. It's just going hard because they're not going to have enough footy to go
Someone
in
else
there
could use
to
him.
highlight him.
Luke.
Shout out to Max Gorn for purposely following the Melbourne game plan. I know Simon Goodwin's really big on ruckman taking intercept marks and then kicking torps across goal, especially late in games when you need a point to win the game. Yeah, it's really good, and I'm glad he's followed the game plan. And I think that's why Tom Campbell never gets a look in, because he doesn't have the skill set to kick torps across goals like Max Gorn. And I think that's why Melbourne want Luke Jackson back, as they know he could have the potential to kick a torp across goal.
Luke's just...
Is that his real name?
unit of
Have we
ruck-
worked that bit out yet?
I don't know. We We haven't worked out his actual name.
I think it might be.
The Union of Ruck Haters.
Oh, I love it. And it falls right in my lap, all those
It
comments.
does. Yeah, it's almost like it's you. Dane, does Stephen May's terrible demeanour affect Melbourne's team morale and performance? Hard to know if you know what the
But he did punch the piss out of a teammate in a restaurant.
In the face, you get a bit upset about it.
can't
Was
look,
that, did he punch him in a restaurant? Have I got that wrong
Melbourne,
way around?
Yeah,
it was
that's
outside the restaurant.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
it can't be good. Like it can't be good for team morale and performance. Like it's not an add, it's not an addition.
It's either exactly as was
Or worse.
Or worse.
Baz, who came up with the whole love the way he goes about it, and why is it overused? That's a good point. Where's the origin of that?
I don't know, but I think it's an easy term to say. I don't really have an opinion, but he's fine.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like Luke Darcy,
Yeah.
he's a
He would
prolific,
be,
love the way he goes
he's a
about
love
it.
the way he goes about it guy. Yeah, I can hear him saying it. Yeah, maybe it was Luke.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's just really, I don't have an opinion.
Yeah, so if I said to you, what are your thoughts on this debutant you've never heard of?
Love
I
the way
love
he
the way he
goes-
goes about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
You don't know how he goes about it.
He doesn't annoy
Sure,
me.
it's fine.
It's like in our family group chat, I got audited for the amount of times I've written lovely underneath photos and stuff. My little brother's like, you've used lovely 37 times this year, mate. It's my word that I use. I don't give a mate. Cool. but I want to give a little bit more than a like. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like that. It's like,
Give
I
it a Shaka's emoji.
find instead of the thumbs up, which can, obviously we know what the thumbs
bit
up can be.
facetious.
Just the love heart. Just overdo it. Just give the love heart.
I love hard things.
Yeah, just love heart.
But throw a lovely in there every now and then. Just gets them thinking you care a little bit more.
Not apparently once you've used it too many times.
yeah.
Glenn, we often hear that a young player coming through the draft or only early days in their career is comparable or plays similar to insert gun player here.
Yeah.
With hindsight, what are some of the best and worst example of these player comparisons? As an example, Stringer was compared to Ablett Senior early days after a particularly strong start to a year, and that couldn't be further from the truth. There was a guy, I can't remember what his name was, but I remember he did it to himself. It was his first presser, and it was right in the prime of Chris Judd's career. He was at Port Adelaide, and they asked him who he plays like, and he said Chris Judd.
Yeah.
And everyone just was like, dude,
Yeah.
come on.
LDU.
It doesn't.
This is way before that.
Oh, this
This
doesn't
is
help.
This is like we're going back 20 years. Like,
Yeah, right.
It doesn't
Couldn't
help
tell you who it
though
was.
that and I think they've tamed it back a bit, but 10 years ago I remember watching it and they're going like, shit, this is a cross between Hodge and Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, it's pick 73.
Yeah, have you noticed
he won't
now-
play?
But have you noticed now they might have overcorrected that?
Yeah.
Because it's like now
Just got to
it's,
talk about a ceiling, right?
yeah,
Like, his
now-
ceiling's probably
now they swing it back the other way, and it's a guys at pick 12, and they're like plays like Harry Cunningham, and you're like,
Yeah, yeah.
and then the club supporters are going, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
nah.
I mean, Harry Cunningham's
But
nice.
my
but-
point used to be, I still remember having this conversation
pick
when
12.
they compared a midfielder we drafted or someone drafted to, say, Chris Judd.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's wrong with saying Brad Sewell?
Yeah.
Like, Sully's won a best and fairest.
Yeah, it's been the next
current
Brad Sewell.
premierships.
My
like,
bugbear in this area is not every young Aboriginal player has to be compared to an Aboriginal legend of the game.
Yeah,
like
that's
just focus
true.
on their game style,
Yep.
not other things.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
not everyone.
Yeah.
They're not all like Cyril.
That's so true.
And like me, I just got compared to all the hot blokes. It was unfair.
All the pasty
Who were the
ringers.
hot blokes when you were coming in?
Who were
your
the hot
era?
blokes?
Back then?
Back then, it was a strange area.
It's a different looking
Yeah,
area,
it was a different
wasn't
area.
it? You had that. There was
I
that.
mean,
sort of-
Hodgie,
The big nest head.
Bud was hot.
Oh, Bud's always
Skinny
hot.
Bud was hot.
Yeah, but you were never.
Bud's now like dad hot too.
Yeah, Bud
He's
was
got
hot.
it going.
Hodgie, people have
Hodgie
things
was
for
hot?
Hodgie.
in that sort of country boy gruff.
They like that. Was that Deledio area?
Tom
era
Hawke.
too?
Deledio.
Deledio was
Tom
right.
Tom Hawkins was hot.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Hawke. In a different way, though, again.
Oh, Ben.
The man.
Ben.
Yeah.
Ben Cousins.
Oh,
Ben-
Cuzzy,
Ben was
yeah.
something.
But probably
Yeah,
the next
it's different,
generation.
different
Yeah,
stratosphere. Different stratosphere. Jared, Toby Pink's second best fullback behind Sam Taylor.
What do you mean?
Put him in.
But didn't we talk about the other week, Sam Taylor? We don't think he's a lock for all.
I saw an Australian team come out on the weekend. They had him sitting there centre half back.
Yeah, I
I thought,
wasn't sure.
I'm not certain you watched the whole heap.
Tony, morning, gents. 3/4 time, Eagles North. Bookies paying $13 for a North win and $1 for the Eagles. Have you heard of any longer odds that have come through? Cheers. That's
What, if
amazing.
I had seen it, I would have taken it.
That's amazing, isn't it? $13.
Jeez.
I did get a little bit lucky the week before at 3/4 time when the Giants came over the top of Richmond. That might have been $8 at 3/4 time.
Yeah, nice. They were 5 goals down, weren't they? I think, yeah. Max, thoughts on the Carlton Doctors not pulling Chera straight off the field? NRL does a better job.
Spoke about that.
Spoke about that yesterday, Max.
Just quickly too, the Super Rugby. I didn't realise they have mouth guards that have shock detectors in them.
Yeah.
so they can read quickly. They get a buzz.
There's some conjecture as to how well that works.
No, but at least
I know
that's
that.
something.
Yeah,
You can collect the data at the end of the.
Jay,
makes
boys,
sense.
I am a Crom man, and I am just confused this year. I don't think we are playing particularly well most weeks, but we are top 4 and should finally make finals. Do you think we'll cause havoc in finals, or will we be found out? A side note, our list needs another A-grade midfielder.
Yeah.
You think we should target Null? He's more of a halfback.
He's a utility.
Null's a halfback, can play forward. So.
Third tall.
Yeah.
I'd say third tall.
But I think he
Yeah,
can
but can
develop into a
swing.
tall midfielder.
Swings.
He's got the
Swings
skill.
hard.
reach.
Good hands. Can read it
Wingspan.
well. Only young, slight. Needs a bit of weight put on. But
Yeah, but how many summers does he need? He's had a few.
I actually keep getting DMs of other nulls that pop up on things.
What was the one?
that was one. wasn't
Someone
there?
sent me one the other day. What was it? Oh, I wish I had
Something to do
remembered.
with work or a passport or
I'll
something.
see if I can find it. Okay, Mitchell, voice message.
Hey lads, hope you're doing well. Rhino, just wanted to quickly say I was the guy a few weeks ago at the Collingwood game that told you about the null thing and we had a laugh. Seemed like a ripper bloke, mate.
Yes.
Zave, love to meet you one day. Hopefully see you at a pub, buy you a beer for your 2008 heroics in the grand final.
Oh, Hawthorn.
But my question is towards Zave. When is Triple M going to change the Xavier, Katie, Triple M? Because I'm a tradie and I hear that every day at work, mate. Anyways, go Freo. Love the pod.
That's good
New
feedback.
It's pretty aggressive.
Refresh that.
Yeah.
I think it's
Well,
catchy.
Katie's
but
about to go on mat leave, so maybe they adjust a few
Xavier.
things there.
What's happening there? Can we say it? Do we know it? What's happening in that? You're just going to keep that a secret for a while longer?
Oh, I don't think it's a big deal.
So
a friend of mine.
Katie will be back.
Katie's back for sure.
I'm not doing it.
She's going away for 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Can we
It's her
just,
birthday today, actually.
Katie's? Oh. Can we just circle back to the Crom guy, Jay? Do we think they're going to have an impact in finals?
If they get a home final, should you?
So you think they can win a final, assuming they get a home one? I think I agree with that.
I think they can get an upset.
I wouldn't want them to play Brisbane. We were talking about Brisbane being that sneaky.
Yeah, they've got depth, though.
Adelaide?
Adelaide. They've
Suddenly.
finally got like Neil
Suddenly.
Bullen and
Suddenly they've got depth.
coming.
Billy, why is it when Nick sounds his most clear and coherent, it's after being sick or a massive hangover? That's true. He has been better today.
Not a drinker, though.
I feel this is the
so
same.
hangover's incorrect. Or you're
Well,
hungover after a big night on the week.
There's like one or
Yeah,
two.
do weeds give you hangovers?
Did you say you're hungover?
It's more a haze.
No, it's more of a. I reckon there's one or two big
downer.
He almost,
nights a year.
he almost,
lingo that he uses.
almost did it.
I feel that way too when I get real croaky and off, and then I just get clarity at the mic for some
Right.
reason.
He's right.
clears
Billy.
ya.
Kim
Yeah.
from Balga. I've got the suburb. Hey guys, it's time to revisit around this time last when Dean Cox was in discussions to take the West Coast coaching job. Fast forward to now. Yes, West Coast still have a lot of struggles, need to add new players in. However, you can now see Minnie's game plan and where he wants to take this team, and the heat is not nearly as much on him. Whereas Cox decided to stay in Sydney, where they were looking at trying to get another premiership, and now they are looking at rebuilding. Do you think Cox is regretting his decision to stay at Sydney, and is West Coast glad that they missed on Cox and got Minnie?
Sydney don't rebuild.
I mean, the early signs are, it's better than Coxie being 10-0 and, West Coast going, geez, he was the guy. I still think Coxie's.
Let's not forget West
No, he's
Coast are
got a-
1 and
Yeah, true.
11 or whatever they
Yeah,
are.
it's true.
Like, let's not pump up too much
That's true.
shit
I
here.
think the difference is Coxie's team was supposed to be good.
Yeah, but then next year you bring in Callum Mills for a full season. You got Errol for a full season.
Errol is everything.
But you got Errol, Mills, Papley, Jamara, possibly. If it's a healthy Jamara, that makes a
did you-
massive
Did you see
difference.
his response to Tom Morris?
Oh,
Yeah, my
yeah,
friends
no,
wouldn't talk to you or something.
No cap or something?
Quick
Stop
capping, bro.
That's funny.
You know, man, as soon as they do that, they maybe land and fish somewhere else. What I would say is, I think West Coast at the end of this year with Oscar Allen,
Yeah.
so they get picked 2 there. So 1-2. Harley Reid, they would say the odds are he's not going to be here long term. There's going to be picks there. I'd say in 3 or 4 years you can circle back to West Coast and there should be 10.
Should be much better.
There should be 10 top 10 draft picks.
By then,
there.
though, Sydney will have had 7 academy picks.
Well,
and they'll-
I was going to say, yeah, Sydney got that 5 or he's going to be picked 5 or 6. It looks
And
like already.
pick one for West Coast. Turns out they're picking in pick 17.
Yeah, somehow.
Jared, why does Nick sip his coffee in every skit? And is there anything in the cup at all? And if so, what?
Oh no, it is actually coffee.
It's not like those one on TVs. where
Someone asked me this yesterday. I said I don't know. I did it once and it worked, and so I just kept doing it.
Do you know what will drive you insane? It's if you watch a movie or a TV show and they drink coffee and they put the cup down and it's clearly empty. You can hear that.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
What do you have in yours?
Tea.
Do you have anything on your desk when you do sport?
No. No.
You
But
should see
like-
the state
but
of his
just-
cups, mate. His
But
mugs.
also,
Remember he used to tip. Remember,
No, refresh them all the time.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
remember he used to tip his half-drunk coffees
Yeah, in
or
the bin.
teas in the bin for the cleaners to wrestle.
Do you know?
Disgrace.
Do you know? I actually
Disgraceful.
think about it all the time.
Disgraceful.
Anytime I go to do it now, I stop and I see your
Think
stupid
about
face.
the cleaners.
Tip, throw it down the sink. Be respectful.
It drives
Yeah.
me mad.
Yeah, testy pop, yeah.
Jaden, thoughts on Tom Morris's reporting that Harley Reid is coming around to a possibility of staying at West Coast for at least the medium term? I don't think that's surprising.
No.
Like, I think we thought there's been some talk that he might ask for a trade this year. I've never thought that was really going to happen. Then there's another year. Everything you hear about Harley in terms of inside the club is that he likes a lot of the players. He has some really good relationships there. I think him and Minnie get along really well. It's really just about where he wants to play. It's not going to be a money thing. It's just going to be, do I want to play my career in Geelong or Essendon or wherever?
Well, don't get me wrong,
Hawthorn?
though, and this, I'm just circling back. Footy is meant to be fun, and these young kids are typically the best kids. Well, he was the best kid in the country, so he has typically been successful.
Yeah, winning. You mean winning?
Winning,
wise. Yeah.
winning. Like once you get the taste of winning, or you don't have the taste of winning, forget about where you live. Like winning, you live anywhere in the country. If
Can
you're
I
winning.
ask this though? Like, and I've heard people say this before. When they're in that first couple of seasons, the losses don't hurt as much because you're just out there going, "How good is this? I'm playing an AFL game." Like, it's not really until you start to get into that medium part of your career where you're like, "No, I just want to win." I've heard that before. It's hard for you
because you're on the
in-
fringes. But Harley, like West Coast at that point, you're not on the fringes. You're playing.
yeah.
So like then you start feeling it more. If you're on the fringes and you're
Oh,
losing,
the longer it goes on,
yeah.
the longer it goes on. But I think like last year, I think you would have just been happy to be doing
Oh,
shit.
but shit, it's hard to have fun when you're getting pumped by 100.
Depends the feedback comes too. Jesse, hi gentlemen, this is Andrew Dillon. Ooh.
Oh,
Please forward,
Adrian Dillon's brother.
Andrew McDillon.
please forward the below to your contacts amongst the commentary teams. Laconic, adjective. Definition, using very few words. Use in a sentence. His laconic reply suggested a lack of interest in the topic. To avoid brand and personal embarrassment, can you please refrain from using the above word incorrectly when describing a player who may be portraying a more lackadaisical effort or intent? You absolute muppets.
It's very
There you go.
nut. Very. So I would have
Laconic
said you
or
can be laconic
lackadaisical.
in nature. Even
You're-
though
I would say
I don't know
you're-
which definition.
I would
You're
say
laconic.
you're laconic.
Yeah, well, I've been told that before.
Yeah.
I had that feedback all through high school.
Yeah, but I think
I had a teacher once
But-
tell me she'll be right in human
But
form.
I think he's saying, like, in terms of that physical,
yeah,
is
but yeah,
more
that's what,
lackadaisical.
is it? I'm going to challenge some of this.
No, don't you talk to Andrew Dillon.
I'm sticking out
English
of
is
it.
an
the
evolving
CEO.
language.
He's the CEO. Matt,
Dylan
Zave was
McDaniels.
right all along. I would rather have been in Hakea on Sunday. James Brown, g'day fellas. Just got a quick conversation starter for you. Disregarding the easy way of most premierships, which team this century is the best on paper? That will eliminate teams that were good due to outstanding coaching and will rely on the team with the best players.
It'd have to be Geelong, maybe
This
20
century?
So being from 2000 onwards, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be like Geelong 07 or Geelong.
Geelong.
What, the best team?
To eliminate coaching, maybe even Geelong 11, because
Yeah.
Scott had just rolled in that year.
Geelong 07 is still the most dominant.
Geelong 07 was pretty
I
sick.
can't remember a better team.
Yeah. I didn't. Does he mean like best single season team or best club?
I think team. I don't know. I think Geelong 07's the answer.
I think
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, it's standout. But if you're talking clubs, it's Hawthorn, Geelong, and Brisbane, and
Yeah.
Collingwood maybe is starting to creep in.
I can't remember ever going into having a grand final where everyone just knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
funny.
There was
like,
no question.
07 that year, he couldn't all kick game winners against the Cats. Down in Tassie. My first ever goal.
Really?
From the goal line.
Oh, we're going to find
Geelong
this.
weren't good then. Yeah, on the goal, I think Hodgie broke 7 tackles, sold 8 bits of candy, razzle dazzle, and then I'm in the goal square
Pop over the
waving, and he handballed it over the top.
Hodgie.
So my first ever goal was the sealer against the Cats, and then not one person high-fived me. 15 people went and dry humped Hodgie. And then a week later, I kicked the goal against Carlton, and everyone ran to me like it was my first ever goal. I was like, ah.
No, guys, I just
Yeah.
accepted it.
Yeah, oh yeah,
just
God,
take
yeah,
it.
came at me. It was a good goal. It was a good goal, though, against Carlton.
Oh, here we go. Connor, current intro music, I shit you not, Fox Footy LG ad. Can't miss it. I've heard it 3 times already. Is that true, Josh?
What? This was a custom build.
Wasn't it a custom build?
I've removed the custom build song.
Oh,
We've gone back to the one that everyone hated originally.
Oh, no. Really?
happened here?
Is that because of the LG thing? What-
No, I just felt bad using the Custom Guys song in our sponsored podcast.
Right. We need to get it.
Gee, you're a nicer bloke than me.
Yeah,
We
we'll
get
get something.
We need to get a new song. We need to go back to the well, I reckon, because if we're not using custom,
We want custom. We want someone from the.
We don't want something that LG's using.
We don't know whether the
because
Symphony
like,
Orchestra-
if a
They'll,
listener's
they'll
out-
come for us soon.
if a listener wants to dust up something pretty cool,
Yeah.
Let's switch that back.
Because-
Can we switch that back?
The
because
concern,
they're not paying.
We'll
they're not
check with
paying-
him.
They're
No,
not
but-
paying to listen to
but the
it.
concern is if they do something that's cool and it's not good, I'm going to have to give honest feedback because I want it to be good.
Yeah, leave me out of that.
Can we get it as close to the original one? 'Cause the original one was amazing. It was the best we've ever had.
Yeah,
Remember
that's
that?
true.
Remember how good that song
What?
was?
How much would it cost again?
Surely we can afford it now.
Let's not get into that.
Aiden, Harry Edwards.
No, we can't afford it.
Aiden, Harry Edwards' form over the last 3 to 4 rounds hasn't been appreciated or noticed enough. He was excellent on Sunday.
Harry
excellent.
Edwards.
Best game he's played. I was very impressed.
I agree with that.
There's
I
hope
didn't see a great deal of it. But
Gregory, fellas, I just wanted to write in and say that I can't believe that 2 of WA's best footy media minds and Nick constantly get the facts wrong when discussing the Eagles' split pick of 2022, namely that West Coast should have had Sheasel in that draft. Prior to that trade, North had pick 1 and there was no indication they were taking anyone but Sheasel. So in every instance, North had the pick ahead of the Eagles and were taking Sheasel. This means that by doing the trade, they likely missed out on Wardlaw. While I'd say Wardlaw is the best out of the 3 currently, Hewitt's development this year has him looking like he could be every bit as good or even better as he has X Factor. So by splitting, you got an equally good pick plus Jinby for nothing, who looks like a solid player. Now he's in defence. Another underrated factor is that we don't have any additional first-round picks with rumours of wanting to go home, a la Reid, so there is a bit less instability at the club. I always said give it a few years before we could start to see if 2 players are better than 1. And now it is looking that the sum of Hewitt and Jinby is better than just Wardlaw. I think that's fair.
Yeah, so what? Okay, we got to revisit where North were.
Also, shout out to Kale, who also sent in a DM making the exact same point.
So what, was he doing collusion or something?
Gregory and Kale. There you go.
So who picked 1 then? What happened to North's first pick?
Okay, I'm not looking at it right now. Wasn't it Cadman? Wasn't that the Cadman year?
Oh, that might have been the
Off
Academy
the
year.
top of my head. All right, Mitchell. Hey guys, it usually shits me when you bullet Richmond every week, but after the weekend just gone, can you just bullet them?
Stiff, mate. I
West
did.
Coast to North from the get-go. That might have been the worst weekend of football I've seen, and those 3 showed why they're the worst 3 teams in the comp. Good call. Blake, the Giants aren't very good. That's it. That's all he says.
so
it's
true.
true.
So that draft was
2022.
Cadman, Ashcroft, Sheasel, Wardlaw.
Sorry, it was? What was it again?
Cadman,
Yep.
Ashcroft,
Yep.
Sheasel,
Yep.
Wardlaw.
Yeah. Yep. Jacob, don't think we didn't hear Ryan say, here's my 3rd leg, the Giants, in teams 13-29-ish. Also, to clarify, and I speak for all Swans fans here, Matt Roberts is not a big out. He should have been dropped 5 weeks ago. Master of the horizontal 15-metre kick to Tom McCartan, butchers the ball going forward, and an absolute liability in defence. Unathletic, doesn't tackle. Seems like a good kid, but not AFL rate. Never seen a better example of good numbers, negative impact. That's my 2 cents.
I
Continued.
respectfully disagree.
If you could trade mid-season draft picks, give me the last pick for Matt Roberts. More likely to get 200 than Roberts. Jeez, he really doesn't like
I'm
Matt
just
Roberts.
looking at the players that played in his last game. Campbell's been around forever and does what he does with 8 disposals. Cleary, Will Haywood, I just can't catch. Hamling was playing. Taylor Adams was playing. Laddams was playing.
Yeah.
Melican was playing.
Did think, though, I think Bice played the Roberts role. And
Bice
was
played
good.
right on the weekend, yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah.
And he's a dangerous kicker.
Well, Bice, but also the captain was back there as well.
Yeah, true. Hayden, North winning the Chad Jones Cup. What's an acceptable performance against Freo? Is it 25, under 25?
I think so. I think
That would be
I reckon Tab Touch would have the margin
great.
at about that.
Yep. Aaron, there was a big hype about homegrown WA media talent this year. We got the big dogs, Rhino and Skeet, on the call for 2 games. But the last 2 Sunday matches, Rhino's been benched. Is this a performance-based thing? Also, keep up the great work on the Sunday rub. Don't listen to the other boys and keep flying the flag for WA News. No, it's
He's on
just
7.
so
You just love doing the boundary.
I do. But the fixture comes out and then 7 goes, right, what games are we going to do in Perth? They usually do, if the team is good, they might do 4 or 5. Say for Freo, they thought they might be pretty good. So there's 4 or 5 Freo games for the year. West Coast, they knew they weren't going to be good, so they might do 1 or 2. So the last 2 weeks have been the 2 West Coast games. So when they come to town, all the big dogs, I get benched.
So they've made the big dogs travel for the shit.
to Bunbury.
Yeah. No. So not the location, but for the West Coast games.
Well,
I thought the big,
Bunbury's
so that's Bunbury related. Not,
it's
but
because every team deserves the national spotlight.
At least once.
The Bunbury game. So Al Nicholson and Jason Bennett.
Was
Okay,
Corbin
but
there?
they're not the one bananas.
No, they're not the one bananas. Although Al's on the Friday night team.
That was great.
Yeah,
They're both
yeah.
great, but they're not. That's not BT.
BT,
and-
JB.
and
No,
JB.
no.
Quick question. Was Corby at the ground?
Yeah, Corbs was there.
No,
No, he wasn't?
Fox called off TV.
I thought they called off the TV, but then I saw someone suggest that
They did.
Corbin was there.
No. How would I know? I didn't
No,
watch seconds.
they
It
called
wasn't
off,
there.
they called off the TV. They couldn't figure out how to do the Unilat stuff there, I think.
Would rather be in Hakia than watch that, but not Rotto. I'd rather go to Bunbury to watch the footy than go to Rottnest.
Back half of the year, we're doing
gotta go next
we're
week.
doing all the games. Back half of the year, we're doing all of them.
Can't wait.
Oh, all right, mate. Jesus.
Sorry.
All right, Connor. Why do players miss easy shots on goal and receive a high five from their teammates? Fair point.
Get the next one, idiot.
Frank, does it annoy you boys as much as me that the clock doesn't stop until the umpire signals a behind goal? If you compare it to basketball, there are a lot of wasted seconds for a sport which can come down to a moment. On this topic, if the umpire has to recall a bounce, the wasted seconds aren't put back on the clock. People argue that the sport goes for too long, but can we save time in other areas like asking rucks to nominate? Cheers, Geelonga.
Agreed.
No, he's right. And it's going to... Nick Rewalt bangs on about this all the time. It's going to decide a game. It's going to decide a
lost
final
seconds?
that there's like only 4 seconds left when there should have been maybe 15.
What
because
about the
of all-
bounce of the ball recalls?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah,
that's what he's talking about.
It's just the,
Awful.
Yeah, I think it has. I think it has.
Get no more bounce. We don't need it. Get it
Throw
out.
it up.
I know the tradition of all the bounce.
It's you had a lot of
bounce-
recalls
piss
yesterday.
off.
Bounce
Just
a lot
throw
of
it up.
recalls.
Just
First,
throw it up.
first one of the game, bounce, then throw.
It's the most deflating thing.
They had a lot yesterday.
It's deflating when it happens at any point, but when it's the very first bounce of the game, is there anything
Monday.
more deflating?
Also, what you want umpires to worry about the stuff that actually matters, not
Correct.
like, are they going to bounce the ball correctly?
Correct.
Holiday in Darwin, all that. Sort
Oh,
of stuff.
yeah, all expenses paid.
Yeah, no, just piss off the bounce. Justin, when is the most famous podcast? It's time for a beer with Xavier Ellis coming back. Miss it.
Oh, gee, I shouldn't have let that go, but I have. It might circle back.
You still got you'd have a feed of it somewhere, right?
Yeah. Geez, we had some downloads.
Do you have
Sure.
to pay for like the hosting fees ongoing, or have you just... Can you access it? These are all the big questions.
Yeah, I think I can.
Okay.
Sean, West Coast are chasing Cameron, Freo chasing Cozzy. Are there much cheaper options available if they look down the road? Liam Ryan still has plenty left and would be dangerous in purple. Darcy could be an All-Australian ruckman if everything goes right, and West Coast would not have to give up as much draft-wise and could swallow his salary at the moment. Both lesser players, but that's reflected in the price. Imagine that.
I don't hate
Just
that.
Darcy for Liam Ryan. Boom.
Freo says no.
Freo would say no.
Freo would say no,
Yeah.
but with the added layer of what does it do?
No, but if Cozzy's there, I don't know if the price, but if Cozzy's there, then Liam
Of course,
Ryan's-
yeah, but let's say he's not. But what does doing that trade do? If
Opens it up
Darcy's
for your
going,
man.
who's happy?
Yeah, I
Who's
don't-
happy?
Xavier
Luke
Ellis.
Jackson's happy,
Yeah.
and you're happy.
No, mate, I don't mind. I just think one ruckman's the way to go.
Tomorrow never comes. Our two reps of Simpson and Schofield are so one-eyed and biased when it comes to listening to their commentary for WA home games.
Someone called you out on that the other day.
Me?
What's been a
No,
Hold
no,
on.
not you personally, but made mention of it to you in the studio on Monday, and you said they do it to try and keep people engaged in the game.
Was that about
Everything's so
saying when the
rosy.
game's shit and not saying it's shit?
And
Oh, yeah,
that's
the
when
keeping
one-eyed
going.
stuff
That's a
comes
different
out.
thing,
That's the Dwayne Russell.
I've heard people say before we need someone like Shawnee Mack, but it's about time Pav dug his feet in. Minus the premiership, his individual status demands more. Only 2 players ever to reach 350 games and 700 goals. Any guesses who the other is? Lethal Lee. So he's saying that...
Hang on. 350.
350 and 700.
Wouldn't be many doing that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can hear what he's saying. It's a hard gig.
Is that right?
commentating.
The only other
It's a
one,
hard
Lee
gig.
Matthews?
Okay,
There you go.
Craig. Howdy, Nick, Ryan, and the arse eater. With Elliott, Cozzy, Ben Long, and Higgins all having great seasons, how many small forwards can realistically make the All-Australian squad? As we
Oh,
know,
we
the selectors love
talked about this.
throwing some
I knew
extra mids in
that
a
stat
forward
was
pocket.
wrong.
Is it wrong? Who else?
Tom Hawkins.
Oh,
plays 350,
yeah, that's a
yeah,
recent
okay.
addition, yeah. As we know, the selectors love throwing some extra mids in a forward pocket.
Lance Franklin.
You play
Did he
350?
get to 350? Did he?
Looks saying so, but let me just dig a little bit deeper on this response.
Anyway, loves the pod. Cheers. Yeah, well,
We
I
talked
can't
about
see
that
Ben
yesterday.
Long getting in. I can't see Higgins getting in. But I can see Elliott and Cozzy getting in, definitely.
Yes.
But I can't see Long has been fantastic. Higgins has been fantastic.
But it's a long road still to go.
Pun intended.
Oh, yeah.
Are you focused? Can we get you in here? For
Yeah, Lance Franklin 354.
Yeah.
Tom Hawkins 359.
Yeah, okay. So they both got there.
That's a good group of players.
Sorry, I just had to make a minute.
Time for Conspiracy Corner.
I love that music straight away. Bang. It's got me.
James, we missed the ultimate conspiracy theory. Sydney Swans coach Dean Cox purposely tanked the game against Adelaide in round 12
There's a whopping 90 points.
to spite the 20-year reunion of the 2005 Swans, as he
Yes.
was on the losing end of that game.
Yep.
That was a free kick to Sampi, he yells into the box after the game and gives them the double middle finger.
Yep.
There was an element of that. 2005, you forget the heartbreak.
Dean
It's
Cox
hard.
faced.
Yeah,
he kicked it in.
Kicked it in.
Leo Barry, you star.
Sampi was absolutely held, by the way. There's that freeze frame of the photo, and he's getting held, and it's like there's a jumper hold.
Yeah, no, it's
It's
good.
a free kick.
No, it's cool.
Imagine the alternate universe where Sampi kicks the game-winning goal in the grand final, though. Isn't that remarkable?
I like alternate universe.
Doesn't that just change everything?
But what does that do? What happens next year?
Maybe they
Dean,
go off,
did
maybe
you-
the Eagles
Maybe it
launch,
goes off the
Yeah,
rails.
I was
maybe the
gonna
Eagles
say.
launch off the edge.
That might have been a good thing that they lost that, actually. I tell you what, though, I did hear Coxie speak about that, and he was so disappointed that the shit they served up in that game with that team in
Correct.
the audience. He
had a
wild about it.
Incredible respect.
right.
All right, we've got a second one. Steve. The exact moment the Hawks season started to unravel was directly related to the moment Barris was moved to full forward against the Eagles, triggering the Eagles' godfathers putting in motion the series of events to bring the downfall of Sam Mitchell. I don't mind that.
What was the series of
Because the
events?
Eagles do have a lot of influential people. You reckon maybe he's
Bit of
pissed
white
off
ending.
the wrong people.
So he went forward in round 7. Then they won the next week by 65 points.
Yeah, but after that.
Then they won the next week by 35.
Okay.
It takes a while to get plan in action.
It takes a while to get things moving, though.
things moving.
It's a brainstorming session.
This episode is brought to you by the Woodside Energy, a proud major sponsor of the Fremantle Football Club, supporting local footy from grassroots to greatness.
All right, we'll see you next week.